Hello my dear students, hope you all are well. Today we will learn the remaining portion of chapter 14. In the previous class, we covered the definition of atmospheric pressure, how we measure the pressure and the factors affecting the atmospheric pressure. So, in this lesson, we covered the atmospheric belt, So, in this chapter, we will cover the world pressure belt, how the pressure belt are shifted, the factors that are affecting the wind, the types of wind and the difference between each of them. So, now students, let's begin. So, first here we study about the world pressure belt. The distribution of the atmospheric pressure across the latitude is termed as global horizontal distribution of pressure, which means according to the atmospheric pressure in a latitude, the zones are distributed and these are known as pressure belt. So here it is written that its main feature is its zonal characteristics. So in an area or across an latitude, the zonal characteristics is known as pressure belt. On the Earth's surface, there are in all 7 pressure belts. So now we learn about the 7 pressure belts. They are equatorial low, the 2 subtropical highs, the 2 subpolar low, and the last, the 2 polar highs. Except the equatorial low, the other forms matching pair is northern and southern hemisphere, which means except the equatorial low pressure belt, all the pressure belts have the northern and southern, which means the subtropical highs are northern subtropical highs and southern subtropical highs. The subpolar lows are northern and southern subpolar lows, and the 2 polar highs are subpolar high and subpolar, which means each of the pressure belts have there in the 2 hemisphere, that are the northern subtropical high and southern subtropical high. Next one is subpolar low, which is the northern subpolar low and the southern subpolar low. And the last, the polar high, that are northern polar high and the southern polar high pressure belt. There is a pattern of alternate high and low pressure belt over the earth. So alternate means if in the equator there is low pressure belt, then in the northern and the southern hemisphere the next belt is high pressure. In this way, alternate high and low pressure belt prevails over the earth. This is due to the sphere shape of the earth. Why this happened? Why this alternate system happened? Due to the spherical shape of the earth. Because the earth is not a round shape, it is oval shape or spherical shape. For this reason, the pressure belt alternates accordingly. The different part of the earth are heated unequally. So there is 2 reasons. One is spherical shape of the earth and next one is as the earth are heated unequally, which means all the part of the earth are not equally heated. The equatorial region receives great amount of heat throughout the year. As we know, in the Earth's surface, the equator gets the direct sunlight and it's heated more than any part of the earth. And it's get great amount of heat more than any part of the earth. The warm air being light and the air is at the equator rises, creating the low pressure. So as we know, the warm air always became light So which means that the air ascends to the higher region, and in the equatorial region the air rises and creating the low pressure. If the air becomes hot or warm, then it will rise upward and in this region creating a low pressure area. At the poles, the cold heavy air causes high pressure to be formed. As we know that the dense air, that is cold air, forms the high pressure in the polar region, and because in the polar region there remains as we know in the polar regions there prevails the cold type of climate throughout the year, which causes the air pressure to become high. It also due to the rotation of the earth. And why the high pressure is prevailing in the two polar region? Because due to the rotation of the earth. That means there is two causes for the high pressure prevailing in the polar region, that is the cold climate condition in the polar region and also the rotation of the earth. So in the subpolar region around the latitude 60 degree to 65 degree north and south of the equator, the rotation of the earth pushes the bulk of air towards the equator. So if this is the equator, that means 0 degree, then the subpolar region at 60 to 65 degree north and south, the air is pushes to the equator, towards the equator due to the earth's rotation. That creates a low pressure belt in the subpolar regions. As we know in the polar regions there prevails the cold type of climate throughout the year, which causes the air pressure to become high. It also due to the rotation of the earth. And why the high pressure is prevailing in the two polar region? Because due to the rotation of the earth. That means there is two causes for the high pressure prevailing in the polar region, that is the cold climate condition in the polar region and also the rotation of the earth. So in the subpolar region around the latitude 60 degree to 65 degree north and south of the equator, the rotation of the earth pushes the bulk of air towards the equator. So if this is the equator, that means 0 degree, then the subpolar region at 60 to 65 degree north and south, the air is pushes to the equator, towards the equator due to the earth's rotation. That creates a low pressure belt in the subpolar regions. So now let's discuss about each of the equatorial pressure belt. So first here comes the equatorial low pressure belt. As we know that equator lies in the 0 degree, this low pressure belt extends from 0 degree to 5 degree north and south of the equator. So in the north and south means from the equators 5 degree north and 5 degree south of the equator. Due to the vertical rays of the sun, here there is an intense heating. As we know, if this is the earth and this is the equator, that the sun gives the vertical rays to the equatorial region, which gives the intense heating in this area. The air therefore expands and rises as convection current, causing a low pressure to develop here. As we know, if the temperature become high, there causes the low pressure. So as the air expands, it rises as convection current, which causes a low pressure in the equatorial region. This low pressure belt is also called as doldrum because it is a zone of total calm, that is without any breeze. Why this is called a doldrum? Because doldrum means a state or period of stagnation or depression. That's why the equatorial low pressure belt is also called as doldrum. The next world pressure belt is subtropical high pressure belt. As we know that the pressure belts are alternative to each other, so the equator have the low pressure belts. That's why the subtropics have the high pressure belt. At about 30° north and south of the equator, that means 30° north and 30° south of the equator, lies the area where the ascending equatorial area current descends, which means the equator, from the equatorial region the air ascends as the temperature becomes high, and in the subtropical high pressure belt the air descends to this region. This area is thus an area of high pressure. As the air descends in this pressure belt, this area became the zone of high pressure belt, and it is also called as horse latitude because this latitude is also called as horse latitude. So this is an interesting term. Why this region is called as horse latitude? So now we know that according to the legend terms, the region is experiencing the calm wind region. So for that reason, the ship carries cargo of horses sailing to America have to throw some horses in this latitude to conserve to conserve the scarce water. As they are unable to sail in this region due to lack of wind, the sailor have to throw these horses. That's why this in this latitude is called as horse latitude. The wind always blow from high pressure to low pressure. So as we know that the wind always blow from high to low pressure belt. So the wind from subtropical region blows towards the equator. So here we know that in the equatorial region prevails the low pressure, and that's why from the two subtropical areas, that is north and south, the air moves to the equatorial region. And so the wind from the subtropical region blows towards the equator as a trade wind, and the wind, that means the wind that blows from the subtropical region to the equator is known as trade wind, and the subpolar low pressure belt as westerlies, which means the air from the subtropical high pressure belt flows in the two direction towards the subpolar low and the equatorial low pressure belt. Next, the pressure belt, which is the circumpolar low pressure belt. This belt is located between the 60° and 70° in each of the hemisphere, that is 60 to 70° north and 60 to 70° south, are known as circumpolar pressure belt. This region is known as circumpolar pressure belt, that is 60° to 70° north and south. In the subtropical region, the descending air get divided into two parts. So, what are the two parts? The one part are blows towards the equatorial low pressure belt, as we previously know in the subtropical high pressure belt that it gets divided into two parts, that one goes to the equatorial low pressure belt and other goes to the circum low pressure belt. This zone is marked as the ascent of warm subtropical air. Earth's rotation, the wind surrounded the polar region blows towards the equator. The centrifugal force operating in this region. So, what do you mean by centrifugal force? Centrifugal force is the force that is necessary to keep an object moving in a curved path. So, the centrifugal force operating in this region, the low pressure belt appropriately called as circumpolar low pressure belt. This region is marked by violent storms in the winter, as all the air that comes from the high pressure belt with a very high speed that causes a violent storm in this region in the winter season. Next, the pressure belt which comes is the polar high pressure belt, and the cold descending air given rises to the high pressure over the poles. So as the air descends in this region, it creates a high pressure over the poles. This area of the polar high pressure is known as polar highs because of the high pressure. It is called as high pressure belt. These regions are characterized by permanent ice cap. As the sunlight does not reach the polar region all throughout the year, this region remains frozen permanently and in ice caps. In this picture, as we can see that this is the equator where prevails the low pressure belt, and this is the North Pole and South Polar region. From this region, that is equator, the warm air is rising and the cold air is descending to the 30° north and to the 30° south, where it prevails the high pressure regions. In this way, the formation of pressure belt happen. In this page, we will discuss about the world pressure belts. So, here is the equatorial low pressure belt, and these are the two subtropical high pressure belt, that means in the north and the south hemisphere. Next, after this comes the circumpolar low and in the northern hemisphere, and the circumpolar low pressure belt in the southern hemisphere, and after this at last the polar high pressure belts in the north and south hemisphere. So from this picture we able to know that the equator have the low pressure belt, and the two subtropical region have the high pressure belt. So from this subtropical high pressure belt, the wind flows to the two direction, that is to the circumpolar lows and the equatorial low pressure belt. After this, in the polar region also prevails the high pressure, from where the wind also goes to the low pressure to the circumpolar low pressure belt in both the hemisphere. Now we are discussing about the shifting of pressure belt. From the word shifting, we may know that the pressure belt is not constant, so it is shifting in a year. Now we are going to discuss it. If the earth had not been inclined towards the sun, the pressure belt as described above would have never as they are. If the pressure belt is not declined to 23.5 degree, then it is not as in the present. On the account of this inclination, that means on basis of this inclination, the difference of heating of the continent and the ocean occurs in the condition of January and July, which varies greatly. So which means the January is the winter season. The January refers to the winter season and July refers to the summer season. So for this inclination of the earth, the pressure condition varies from January to July. So opposite condition also prevails in the southern hemisphere. Next, when the sun is overhead of the Tropic of Cancer, the Tropic of Cancer is the important latitude after the equator, Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. When the sun is overhead on 21st June, the pressure belt shifted 5 degree northward and vertically over the when it shines vertically over the Tropic of Capricorn, that this is the Tropic of Capricorn, then on the 22nd December they shifted 5 degree south. So on 21st June it shifted 5 degree north, and on the 22nd December it shifted 5 degree south. This is the from their original position. From their original position they shifted 5 degree north and 5 degree south. The shifting of the pressure belt causes season change in the climate, especially between 30 degree and 40 degree in both the hemispheres. So, in the latitudes of 30 degree and 40 degree north and south, the climate varies in this region for this shifting of the pressure belt. The region of the Mediterranean the region of the Mediterranean type of climate is experienced because of the shifting of the permanent belt to the southward and the northward with the overhead position of the. So, as we experience the Mediterranean type of climate because of the northward and southward, and the northward shifting of the pressure belt, which causes in the change of the position of the sun. During the winter, the westerlies prevails and causes rain, and in this region, during the winter season, the westerlies prevails here, which causes rain. During summer dry, the trade wind blows offshore. As it is blowing offshore, it is unable to give rain in this region. So, this region only gets the rainfall from the westerlies. When the sun shines vertically over the equator on the 21st March and 22nd September, that is equinox, the pressure belt remains balanced in both the hemispheres. So, equinox means when the sun remains on the equator and overheads on the equator. So, which prevails a condition of equinox in which the temperature balanced in both the hemisphere. From this picture, we are able to know about the shifting of pressure belt, that in the 21st March and 23rd September, that is the equinox situation, when the pressure belts remain balanced in both the hemisphere. But during the time of 23rd July and 23rd December, the pressure belt shifted 5 degree north and south. So, in 21st December, it shifted 5 degree to the north, and 23rd September, it shifted 5 degree to the south. After this, we are going to study about the wind. So, what do you mean by wind? The air flows from the area of high pressure to the area of the low pressure. That we know that wind is the horizontal movement of the air, and it flows from high pressure to low pressure. The horizontal movement of the air is called wind. It is the nature attempt to balance inequality in the air pressure. So, wind has a nature to balance the inequalities in the air pressure. So, which means where the high pressure prevails and in a location where the low pressure prevails, the wind from the high pressure area goes to the low pressure area to balance the air pressure. The vertical or nearly vertical movement of the air is referred as air current. So, horizontal movement is known as wind and the vertical movement is known as air current. So, if the air is moving horizontally, then it is called wind, and if it is moving vertically, then it is called air current. The wind and the air current manages the system of the circulation in the atmosphere. So, these two components manages the circulation of the air in the atmosphere. Now, we will study about the factor affecting the direction and the velocity of the wind. The direction and the speed of the wind are controlled by the combination of various factors. The various factors are pressure gradient, the Coriolis force, altitude, latitude, rotation of the earth, the centripetal acceleration and the friction. We will study about these factors one by one. The first come the pressure gradient. So, previously we studied about the pressure gradient, which means the decreasing pressure between the 2 points on the earth's surface. So, the greater the difference in the pressure between the 2 points, the steeper is the pressure gradient. And also the wind speed also became higher. So, with the stiffness of the air pressure, the wind speed is also increases or became high. Since the wind blow from the higher to lower area and perpendicular to the isobar, which means if this is the isobar, it is perpendicular to isobar, these wind blows are parallel to the pressure gradient. If the pressure gradient is in this way, then the wind also blows parallel to this pressure gradient and at a right angle to the isobar, and the direction of the wind is right angle to the isobar. Comes is the Coriolis effect. So, what is Coriolis effect? Previously we know that due to the Earth's rotation, the wind moves to a direction is known as Coriolis. If the earth is not inclined in the axis, it would follow the direction of the pressure gradient. But as the rotation produces another force that other than the pressure force. So, not only the pressure force is acting, it also produces another force which is known as Coriolis effect or the Coriolis force, which helps in deflecting the air. Due to the rotation of the earth, it also deflects the air, and also due to the Coriolis force. The deflection is the least at the equator. Why it is least at the equator and greater at the poles? Because at the equator the speed is the maximum. This tends to turn the flow of the air by changing its direction from the original straight path. As the wind flows in the straight direction, this tends to deflect the position or the direction of the flow of the air. The wind starts deflecting in the right to the northern hemisphere. So, in the northern hemisphere it deflects to the right, and in the southern hemisphere is deflected to the left. It's deflected to the left. Thus, the wind blowing from the north became northeasterly and in the northern hemisphere, and the wind blowing in the south became southeasterly in the southern hemisphere. For example, the northeast trade wind that blows in the northern hemisphere deflected to the northeast direction. This is due to the maximum speed of the rotation, as we know previously that this happened in the northern hemisphere because the maximum speed of rotation is on the equator. Hence, the deflection is less in the equator. After this, we are going to discuss about the types of wind. There are some winds which blows throughout the year. All the various type of winds are blowing throughout the year from one latitude to another, and it is also responsible for the latitudinal difference in the air pressure. This wind is called as permanent or prevailing or planetary wind. There are various names. It is also called permanent, prevailing wind or planetary wind. The certain wind reverse their direction periodically with the season, and the wind that changes with the season is called periodic wind. The wind that reverses or changes the direction periodically with the season are called periodic wind. There are certain wind in the different part of the world which flow in comparatively small area and have special characteristics. So, in specific areas, a specific type of wind flows that is known as local wind. So firstly we have to discuss about the permanent wind. In the permanent wind there are trade wind, the westerlies, the polar easterlies. These are the three types of permanent wind. So we have to discuss the trade wind. So what is trade wind? The wind blowing from the subtropical area, that is 30° north and south towards the equatorial low pressure belt. So these are the subtropical area, and the wind blows to the equatorial region are known as trade wind. As we previously know that the wind that is blows from the subtropical to the equatorial region is known as trade wind. So after this we have to know about the term trade. The term trade comes from the German word which means track. To blow trade means to blow steadily in the same direction, as we called it the permanent wind. So throughout the year it blows in the same direction in a constant course. The north and south of the equatorial belt are the trade wind in the zone lying between the 5° and 30° north and south. So the north and the south equatorial belt, the north and the south equatorial belt are the trade wind in the zone lying between 5° to 30° north and south. The trade wind are the result of a great pressure gradient from the subtropical high pressure belt to equatorial belt of low pressure. So these are the causes. This cause due to the flow of wind from the subtropical high to equatorial low pressure belt. In the northern hemisphere, the wind moving towards the equator is deflected by the Earth's rotation to flow southwestward. So, from the north, in the northern hemisphere, the wind moving from towards the equator, it deflected due to the Earth rotation to the southwestward. Thus, the prevailing of the wind there is the northeastern, and it is named as northeast trade wind. So, as we know that the wind that is comes from the subtropical region is known as trade wind, and as it is deflected to the southwestward, it is so it is called as northeast trade wind. In the southern hemisphere, the deflection of the wind occurs to the left hand side, that is called. So in this way, this is the equator and this is the subtropical region, and in this way from the south to westward it is deflected. So for this region it is called as southeast trade wind. The trade wind brings heavy rainfall to the eastern coast of the continent. So if this is a continent, it brings rainfall to the eastern coast of the continent within the tropics. On the western coast of the continent, this wind does not bring any rainfall. So here it is the rainfall area. It does not bring any rain in the western coast of the continent. It is because why it does not bring any rainfall to the western coast of the continent, because here they are offshore wind, or the wind blowing just parallel to the shore. So if this is a continent and this is the shore of the continent, it just flowing parallel to the shore. That's why it does not contain any moisture and and it is the offshore type of wind. So for that reason it does not give any rain to this part of the continent. Therefore, the western area within the tropics suffer aridity. For this region, the western part of any continent in the tropics have suffer from aridity. The Great Desert of the Sahara, Kalahari, Atacama, the Great Australian Desert lies on the western margin of the continent. These all the regions which are presented on the continents on the western side in the tropical latitude. For this region suffers from aridity or the dry type of climate. Now we are going to learn about the characteristics of the trade wind. What are the characteristics? The wind that blows from the subtropical high pressure to equatorial low pressure belt. So First, these are the warm kind of wind, and they pick moisture and are responsible for the heavy rainfall. As if the air contain moisture laden air, then it causes heavy rainfall on the eastern side of the tropical land. As we previously know that it does not give any rain to the western side of the continents, but it gives heavy rainfall to the eastern side of the tropical lands. They are called as the northeast trade wind in the northern hemisphere and southeast trade wind in the southern hemisphere, as the wind deflects to the right and left in the north and southern hemisphere. The wind and the pressure belt moves a few degrees north and south along with the movement of the overhead sun. As we know that with the shifting of the sun, the pressure belt also shifted from 5 degree north and south in both the hemisphere. They have fixed velocity and are regular, because we know that it is a permanent kind of wind, so they have the fixed velocity, which means speed, and at regular. Next one is, it is the permanent or the prevailing wind. Permanent or prevailing wind is, which means that the wind that always flow throughout the year in one direction in the same latitude. After this, the next permanent wind that comes is the westerlies. The westerlies are the prevailing westerly wind that blows from 35 to 60 degree north and south in the hemisphere. This wind is also blows from the subtropical high pressure belt to the subpolar low pressure belt. That means this is equator and this is the subtropical high pressure belt. After this comes the subpolar low pressure belt. So the wind that flows from the subtropical high pressure belt to subpolar low pressure belt is called westerlies. In the northern hemisphere, the westerlies generally blow from the southwest to the northeast. That means southwest to northeast, and in the southern hemisphere from northwest to the southeast. These are the shore wind on the west coast and the offshore wind on the east coast, which means the shore wind, offshore wind means that it does not give any rainfall to the eastern coast and it gives rainfall to the western coast. The onshore wind brings rainfall while the offshore wind does not bring any rainfall. As we know that offshore wind does not carry any moisture in the air, so that's why in offshore region, that is in the east coast, it does not gives any rain, but it rains on the shore wind, that is the west coast of the continent. Now we are going to learn about the characteristics of the westerlies. So what are the characteristics of westerlies? That it flows from subtropical high pressure to subpolar lower. Next one is, it is very strong wind and often blow from the western side of the landmass. So as we know that the trade wind blows from the eastern coast and it is offshore to the western coast, but the westerlies are the wind that offshore to the eastern and onshore to the western coast or western side of the landmass. They are interspersed by the cyclone and causes light drizzle. Light drizzle means light precipitation happen in the due to the interspersed by the cyclone. They are strong in the southern hemisphere and these are absence in the, and there is absence of the landmass. They are strong in the southern hemisphere as there is absence of landmass, which means that because the presence of landmass causes friction and reduce the velocity of the wind. In the southern hemisphere, due to the absence of the landmass, the velocity of the air in the southern hemisphere is higher than the northern hemisphere. The next permanent wind is the polar easterly wind. As in this word, the polar means the wind that comes from the polar region. So the wind that originated in the north and the south polar region and blows towards the circumpolar low pressure zone are known as polar wind. So this means that the circumpolar low pressure belt and the polar region, the wind that flows to the circumpolar low pressure area is called the polar easterlies. They starts from the polar high pressure zone and originated from the ice cape land. As we know that the polar region, the North Pole and the South Pole region is ice cape land masses, that is Arctic and Antarctic latitude. It carries the air from that polar high pressure zone. In the northern hemisphere, they blow from the northeast. That means if we draw the northern hemisphere, suppose this is the northern hemisphere, then it blows from the northeastern side. So which means if we inverted this, then the direction changes to this. So for that reason it is called northeast polar wind. And in the southern hemisphere, suppose this is the southern hemisphere and it is flows from the southeastern side, that means southeast. So they are also deflected to the west in both the hemisphere, and hence this region is known as polar easterlies. Now we are going to learn about the characteristics of the polar wind. So as it is coming from the poles that are ice cape lands, it have the very cold type of wind, and they are also referred to the polar easterlies from the direction in which they are blown, the northeast and the southeast, and they blow over the ocean. They became warm. As they are blowing over the ocean, the cold wind becomes warmer. We are done. We have covered the permanent wind. Now we are going to the periodic wind. So first we learn about what do you mean by periodic wind. Periodic wind blows at the regular interval, as the permanent wind is blow throughout the year, but the periodic wind is not regular. It is blows at a regular interval in a regular cycle. They are the winds that result from the localized difference in pressure and temperature. These winds are flow due to the difference of pressure and temperature. These are the two factors which causes the formation of the periodic wind. Now the periodic wind are of two types, that are land and sea breeze. For example, the periodic winds have the examples of the periodic winds such as land and sea breeze and this seasonal winds. Like first we have to discuss the land and sea breeze, that are they are caused by the differential rate of heating and the land and sea. So why the land and the sea breeze occur? So as we previously know that these air are produced, the air is produced due to the differentiation of temperature and pressure, and which is caused by the differential rating of heating of land and the sea. So during the day the land get heated faster. As we know, the land attracts the sun heat and get heated faster than the adjoining sea. This create a low pressure zone on the land and high pressure zone on the sea. Thus the wind blows from the sea to land. As in the sea to land, it is the sea, it is the land. Here prevails the high pressure and here prevails the low pressure. As the temperature is high, here prevails the low pressure, and in the sea the temperature is low, so here prevails the high pressure. So the wind always blow from high to low. That means the wind are going through from the sea to the land. So this wind is known as sea breeze. And the night at night the reverse things happen, that from the wind blows from land to the sea, because during the night the sea is warmer than the land. sea is warmer than the land, that prevails low pressure in the sea and high pressure in the land. So that's why the wind blows from land to the sea, which causes the land breeze. The monsoon are the periodic seasonal wind blowing in the region of Southeast Asia and North Australia. So in the Southeast Asia and the Northern Australia, there prevails the monsoon periodic seasonal wind which blows in these regions. And the word the monsoon means is derived from the Arabic word mosim, which meaning season. So mosim means season, and from that word comes the word monsoon. They develop because of the difference in heating condition of the continent, because the Southeast Asia and the North Australia continent is heated in the different time with the different conditions. So for that region, the periodic seasonal wind blows in these continents. So the monsoonal periodic wind is divided into two parts, that is summer wind, two types, that is summer wind and the monsoon wind. So now let us discuss about the summer monsoon wind. In summer, the land gets more heated than the sea. As we know, in summer, the land gets more heated than the sea. Hence, there are developed a center of low pressure on the land where as the temperature is heated or become higher, there creates a low pressure in the land. Over the adjoining sea, air is comparatively cool, that means which there prevails the high pressure. This causes the wind to blow from sea to land, and it is called as summer monsoon. In the May, June and July, the plain of India and China are heated by the vertical ray of the sun. That means the sun is directly falling in this area, and the intense heat develop a continental low pressure. So here prevails the low pressure. During these months over the Indian Ocean, a high pressure area develop. But in the Indian Ocean, here prevails the higher pressure. That means this region is cooler. So here prevails the low pressure and here prevails the high pressure. So the wind blows from the Indian Ocean northward and northwestward like this. Here it is to the northward and northwestward. That brings heavy rain to the Southeast Asia. So this is the southeastern part of the Asia, where this wind, summer monsoon wind, brings heavy rainfall by flowing to the north and northwest side. And this so for that region it is called as southwest summer monsoon. The next one is the winter monsoon. During the winter season, the conditions are just reverse to like the summer monsoon. That is, the high pressure prevails on the Central Asia up to the northwest Indian plain, and at the same time low pressure was developing in the Indian Ocean, and the wind blows from land to the sea, which is dry, which means the wind that blows from the land to the sea, it is became dry, and they are incapable of producing any rain. When this wind blows over the sea and passes over the adjoining land, so when there blows over the sea and passes over the adjoining land, it gives the rainfall to these regions. The southern Coromandel coast, like the Tamil Nadu in India and the Vietnam coast at the western coast of the Japan, gets the winter monsoon. So in this picture we can see that in the Tamil Nadu region the wind flows over the sea and then again gets to the adjoining land. Here it gets the rainfall by the winter monsoon. Next one we are discussing is the local wind. So what do you mean by local wind? We previously know that certain winds that are rivers and that are flows specifically to a particular area in a specific time period is known as local wind. So here it is written that the local wind are restricted to a certain place only. So it is flows only a certain region. They may be warm or cold depending upon the area. If the region where it is flows it is cold, then the wind also became cold, and respectively if the region is warmer, then the warm local wind will flow. For example, Harmattan is the local wind of the Sahara Desert. So we have to remind the Sahara Desert have a local wind which is called as Harmattan. Now we are going to study about some local winds. The first come Lu. So in the plains of the northern India and the Pakistan, sometime a very hot and dry wind blows from the west in the summer and in the afternoon. So it is called as Lu. So in the northern part of the India and Pakistan, the hot dry wind that blows during the summer times in the afternoon, it is called as Lu. Its temperature invariably ranges between 45 degrees C to 50 degrees C, which means 45 degrees Celsius to 50 degrees Celsius. It may cause sunstroke to the people because as it is blowing from the land, it becomes, and from the warmer land it becomes very warm, and it became very hot and dry wind which causes sunstroke to the people. Next come Foehn and Chinook. So the Foehn and Chinook is also a local wind in which the strong warm wind develops on the leeward side of the Alps. So here the leeward side means the direction from where the wind blows. So here the Alps experience a strong warm wind on the leeward side. Due to the regional pressure gradient and the air is forced to cross the barrier, the wind ascends to the southern slope of the Alps. So if this is the southern slope, then the wind ascends from the southern slope of the Alps. It expands and cool. So as it gets to the higher altitude, it expands and cool down, and the condensation takes place when the air is saturated and causing rainfall and snowfall on the higher slope. As it is get to the higher altitude, it causes rainfall and snowfall on the higher altitudes. However, on descending the northern slope, the wind experience an increase in pressure. So when this is the northern slope, when it is descending, it experience an increase in pressure and temperature. Due to this, the air is compressed and became warm. Most of the moisture is lost. As it is getting warmer, then for that reason moisture is lost, and it reaches the valley bottom as a dry hot wind called as Foehn. The temperature of the wind varies from 15 degrees Celsius to 20 degrees Celsius. The wind is used for melting snow. So as it is the hot type of wind, it is used for melting the snow, and it has been ripening the grapes. So it is useful for that region it is used for melting the snow and the ripening of the grapes. Similar kind of wind in USA and Canada moves down to the western slope of the Rockies, that is western slope of the Rockies, and are known as snow eater, and are known as Chinook. The word Chinook literally means snow eater. It is beneficially, this name is given to this wind because this is a hot and dry type of wind. So for that reason it melted the snow. So the name is given here. It is beneficial to ranches east of the Rockies as it keeps the grassland clear for the snow. The next local wind that comes is Mistral. During winter, the area adjacent to the highland may experience a local cold wind which originates over the snow-capped mountain or the highland blows down to the valley. So this type of wind is also originated from over the snow-capped mountains and descendants to the valley. This wind have been given local names. So many types of names are given to this local wind. The most famous is Mistral, that blows from the Alps over the France towards the Mediterranean Sea. So it blows from the Alps in the it originated in the Alps in the higher altitude and flows towards the Mediterranean Sea. Even through the skies are clear, the Mistral bring down the temperature below freezing point. So as the wind blows, it makes the temperature below freezing point. This local wind often have a considerable effect on the climatic condition, notably on the temperature of a place. As it makes the temperature low, so it affects the climatic condition of any area. So in the next class we will learn about the variable winds. That's all for today. Thank you.